Welcome to Satsang. And welcome to this very sacred and beautiful day of Govardhan Puja. Raise your hand if you were with us in the Arti and heard what I shared about the message of Govardhan Puja in the Arti. Raise your hand. Okay, about half of you. Well, so it's worth giving the short part of the story first for the other half of you who were not there, because this is such a beautiful day, and the messages are really important. So, on this day, well, we have to back up before this day. You have the beautiful villagers of an area that we call Vraj, sacred land of Govardhan, of Vrindavan, people who are lovers of Krishna. And Lord Indra wanted everybody to only worship him. But Bhagwan Krishna helped the villagers understand that this beautiful land, this mountain of Govardhan, was actually that which provided them with everything. The soil that they grew all of their food in, their water, their land, the pastures that they grazed the cows in, who gave them the milk. So this mountain gave them everything. And Lord Krishna encouraged them to revere and celebrate the mountain for what it gave them. But Indra was not so happy about that. And in order to essentially show them who's boss, he created this incredible storm. Wind, rain, I don't remember how they classify hurricanes, I think like class 5, whatever the highest class of hurricanes and tornadoes. Imagine that multiplied by many, many times. People panicked. So Krishna did two things. This is what I was sharing in the Arti. He did two things, separate but interconnected and separately important. Number one, he raised up the entire mountain of Govardhan like a very, very, very strong umbrella. Because in a windy storm, your umbrella is useless. It's good if you're just getting rained on, but if there's wind, as anybody who's tried to use an umbrella in the windy rain knows, it's useless. But he lifted up the entire mountain to protect them. And he held the mountain on his little pinky finger. Just like that, when he's God. So, mountain on the pinky. That was piece one. But piece two was he sent all of the villagers home and told everybody to get a stick, that they needed to bring their stick and help hold up the mountain of Govardhan. And so if you've seen beautiful, beautiful artwork, you'll see these beautiful paintings and tapestries of Bhagwan Krishna under the mountain holding it up with his pinky. And all of the villagers with their sticks. Now this is one of my favorite stories because the message is so deep. And the message is, have faith in God. Whatever storms come your way, God will protect you. And you got to do your duty. It's not have faith in God and just, sit on the couch and eat potato chips. It's have faith in God and do your duty. Show up stand up, step up to the plate of your life, do your part. No one is exempt. No one is off the hook. In these beautiful images, it's not like you see, 90% of the villagers there with their sticks, and then the 10% of kind of the lazy ones sort of roaming, sitting around the side. Everybody's there, stick in hand. And that's the message for us. No, it's not all up to you, because there's God in the middle with like the whole mountain on his pinky, tip of his pinky. He doesn't have beads of sweat dripping down his neck. You don't see like the muscles of his, arms bulging out, and he's really stressing and straining himself in any way. And he's smiling, and yeah, the mountain's on my pinky. So no problem for God. And yet, we all have to do our part. And so for me, with all of the questions about faith in God, perfection of the universe, one with the divine, and the work, this story for me is that perfect bridge. Yes, faith in God, total and complete faith in God. He will hold up the mountain. He'll hold up the world. And get your stick, show up, do your part. No one gets to sit this one out. No one is exempt. And that, I think, is really the lesson for today. So many of us feel like everything is on our shoulders. So we're stressed, we're in despair, we feel hopeless. And on the flip side, it's, everything is just up to God, I don't have to do anything. Neither is right. Yes, God is there, have faith. Get your stick, show up. Hold up your part of the world. So this is a very beautiful and sacred day. And we'll start, as always, with one of the questions that's come in advance. I want to be a better person, but I often feel trapped by my past mistakes. How can I move forward without constantly feeling guilty or burdened by who I was? And this is asked by Keiko from Tokyo, Japan. So, guilt paralyzes us. Guilt is never helpful. We've got to do whatever we can to live guilt-free. But regret and repentance are both really powerful. So the answer is not forget everything you did. You were running too fast today, and so you tripped this poor kid and he fell flat on his face and broke his nose. Okay, don't worry about it, forget it. No, take a lesson here. Don't feel guilty forever. Don't ruin your life because of what you did. You didn't mean to. It's okay, forgive yourself. But there should be regret, there should be repentance, and from the regret and the repentance, you should make a commitment. I'm going to move a little more slowly. I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to be more conscious. I'm going to be mindful. No more running. A lot of us in our well-intentioned but poorly executed life paths tend to knock other people over. Unintentionally. We were busy, we weren't paying attention, we were on our phone, we were stressed, we were confused, we were exhausted and our eyes closed, literally, metaphorically, either way. Nothing to feel guilty about. Guilt says you are a wrong person, and you will always be wrong. Guilt is personal. It's about you as a bad person. It's pervasive. Everything you do is bad. And it's permanent. Personal, pervasive, permanent. You will always be a bad person. It's the core of who you are. Guilt is a lie. But regret is great. Regret says, oh my God, I can't believe I was looking at my phone when I was walking down the street. I've told myself not to do that. Yeah, you should feel regret. You should feel that sting that makes you commit to finally stick the thing in your pocket so you don't knock somebody else over. Or whatever way you are hurting people. It's always unconscious. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hurt somebody today. We are confused. We're stressed. We're scared. We're longing for acceptance, for friendship, for love. We're overcome with desire because we're blinded into thinking that the object of that desire is finally going to make me happy. We're distracted. We get angry. We get under the impact of greed and lust, ego. We operate in subconscious autopilot mode of all of our patterns. These are all the reasons why we make mistakes. None of them is because you're an evil, bad, wrong person. So don't feel guilty. But as you make mistakes, when you look on your past, ask yourself, like, what tends to be the main cause for mine? Most of us tend to make mistakes due to one or two of those, not all of them all the time. So you'll notice, oh, my mistakes tend mostly to come from lust. Like I just get caught up and make these really bad decisions that I really later regret. They hurt me, they hurt others. Or maybe it's anger. Maybe you've got a temper and you can't control it. And so you say things, you do things that hurt people that you later regret. Maybe you're overcome by a pattern from the past that's told you that your worthiness as a human being is due to what you achieve and how you do. Maybe you were given love only when you brought home straight A's, and when you brought home bad grades, you were hit or punished, or love was withdrawn. And now in your business, in your company, somebody else is getting ahead of you. You're not going to get the raise. You're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to be number one. And so in that subconscious programming, you find yourself acting in this autopilot way to sabotage the other person, hurt the other person, maybe dishonestly, so that you can get ahead and get that. Again, not because you're a bad person, but because you've got this incorrect, deep view that you need that in order to be worthy of love. And who doesn't want love? When we're young, when we're kids, at the time when we learn these things, if you're not loved, you die, literally. Like, we need to be loved as kids, because otherwise we get abandoned on the street and die, literally. So if we're stuck in those patterns from childhood, that worthiness of love literally is a life or death situation. It's not just, oh, that'll feel good. It's survival. So allow yourself to notice kind of what your triggers are. What are the things that make me make mistakes that I later feel badly about? And then work on them. Overcome them. Let go of the guilt. Today's a great day. We're celebrating New Year with our Gujarati family. But whether you're Gujarati or not, it doesn't matter. Celebrate New Year today. Let go of the guilt. New Year. Let it go. That's all of the past. But keep the lessons. Letting go of the guilt doesn't mean I forget the lessons. And allow yourself to really understand, why did this happen from me? I didn't intend it. I'm a good person. I mean well. Why do these sorts of mistakes happen through me? And how can I work to make sure that they don't happen again in the future? And that's what life is. So turn the guilt into a lesson. Great. Any questions that anyone here has? Yes, Sajjan. And then you. All right, somebody help him get the mic down. Thank you.
So my next question is, why is it in one of the most connected times in history with phones, you can call someone on the other side of the world, that majority of people are more lonely?
The majority of people?
Are more lonely.
Ah. Great question. Why at a time in the world where with our phones, our devices, in a split second, we can connect with anyone, anywhere in the world, why are people so lonely today? Because we have allowed ourselves to get brainwashed and distracted. We have only 24 hours a day. Out of those 24 hours, we need to sleep, okay? We need to eat. We need to bathe. You need to go to school or work. Many, many hours of your day are already spoken for. The few hours a day that you have left, that are what we will call discretionary hours, they are up to you to do with them whatever you want. Most of us don't make very good choices of how to spend that time. If we spent that time exercising, in nature, reading things that inspired us, uplifted us, educated us, taught us about other cultures, if we spent that time with loved ones, if we spent that time in service of others, we would eliminate most of the depression, the anxiety, the loneliness that we experience in the world. Along with, of course, heart disease and diabetes and so many of the illnesses that we face. Because when we're lonely and depressed, for a lot of people, French fries are their friend. So they end up physically sick as well. The dilemma is that our brains operate on the basis of habit, okay? So just like our bodies do, our brains operate on the basis of habit. So what we learn, that's what we're likely to do. You're very lucky. You're growing up in a family who actually read books, who actually make music, who actually do service, who actually go into nature, who come to spiritual places, who go to temple. This is the habit that you and your brother are learning to have. There will come a time in your life where you get to make your own choices. Nobody's going to be there to tell you what to do. But by that point, all of your subconscious programming is already set. But imagine that you grew up in a family instead where all day long everybody sat around watching TV, drinking alcohol. right? The feet up on the table, beer in hand, TV on, phone in the other hand. What do you think you'd learn? Right? Chances are that would be what you would start doing. Because we learn from what we see, we learn from what we experience. This is how we get habits. It's what we call sanskaras. They are impressions on your psyche, on your brain, on your personality. Now, because most of us allow ourselves to get distracted, we fall into the hands of lots of great science these days, billion, trillion dollar science that has figured out how to steal our lives. They have figured out how to program these devices, the phones, the iPads, the computers, the TVs, in such a way that we never want to stand up, that we just want to watch one after another, after another, after another, that we want to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. What they've done, in my opinion, is criminal. They've turned something into an addiction, like cigarettes. There's all kinds of rules about who you can sell cigarettes and alcohol to, how you're allowed to advertise them. These device makers, the app makers, have actually spent even more money, more time, more brilliance figuring out how to get us to just want to keep staring at them. And so when people have free time, what do? They stare at their device. And the dilemma is, it makes you very lonely. There's lots of research that shows after spending time on your device, you are more depressed than before. People are, bored and they think, oh yeah, I'll just kind of scroll TikTok for a while and then I'll feel better. All of the science shows you will feel worse. The other sad part about it is, because we spend so much time on our devices, we have started to mistake followers or online friends for real friends. So I may have thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. But when I'm having a rough time in my life, I don't have anybody to go out for a cup of tea with or take a walk with. And I can't post that online because, oh my God, then what are people going to think of me, right? I can only post these happy, beautiful pictures because that's the whole game online. So we have this loneliness epidemic because we have curated identities that are fake identities that we're projecting online. And we're spending so much time and attention there that we don't have time to go out and play baseball with our friends or take a walk in the park or go for lunch or bake cookies and, sell them and donate the money or sell lemonade on the side of the road or, all of the things that people did in the days before. We were staring at devices all day long. So we're getting more and more lonely. And this is really where your generation, and the generation just a little bit older than you, who are, first generations, like Tallulah's generation, Shreya's generation, and then yours, are the first generations to really come of age in this digital age. And then for you guys, like since birth. You're going to have to figure out how much time you want to spend on your device. That's going to be up to you. Your parents can control you while you're near their house. But as you grow, you've got to decide, do I want to go down this path or this path? Everybody who does this is lonely, feels badly about themselves, has low self-esteem. doesn't have enough time, is stressed out because they don't have enough time. And people who follow this path tend to actually be much happier. So you're going to get to make those decisions on your own, but this is a really important lesson. Friends on your device do not take the place of friends in life. But in order to have friends in life, you have to be prepared to put down the device and actually have a real conversation. Because it's only that makes us not be lonely. And the most powerful way not to be lonely is a spiritual connection. But again, if my phone's next to me and it's flashing and it's buzzing and it's beeping, it's really hard to keep meditating. So I get distracted. And when my brain has been programmed to be distracted because I'm on my device all day, then even if my phone is in the other room, it's very hard to get my brain to meditate because it's been programmed the other way. So this is the age. Take care of your brains. Yeah, great question. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Layla. A couple of times you've spoken about us being in a movie, and I understand that we're playing this part in the movie, and sometimes we forget that we're only a character. But what I'm interested in is, are we also casting the movie and directing it?
Great question. So we speak about the divine Leela, is the Sanskrit word. And it literally means drama. It's the divine drama. And you can think of it as a stage performance. You can think of it as a movie, either way. But it's a divine drama. Now, each of us, as we come into each birth, is given a role to play. That has to do with where we take birth, the family we take birth in, the circumstances, the situations we take birth in, the country, the religion. I mean, somebody who takes birth in a wealthy family in a Western country is going to play an entirely different role in the cosmic drama than somebody who has taken birth in a poor family in a village of Africa. Just the sheer opportunities that they're going to have in their life, the skills, the abilities, the toolbox they're going to be given, the health of the physical body. Different roles. Now, when you say, are we casting and directing, depends how you define we. Our past births, our actions in our past births, are that which determine our role in this birth. So absolutely, we are contributing to this. We are the ones determining it. This is where I always say that, yes, everything is predestined, but pre for tomorrow is today. It's not predestined years ago in space by a nameless, formless energy. It is predestined by us in our actions and choices in moments prior to this one. So your role in this birth is determined by your actions in your past births. In terms of what you get when you come out. Which family are you in? Which body are you in? Which environment? Which opportunities will you have? But then, all of the choices and the decisions that you make in this birth, I think it was last night, I said, it's an improv. So all of your lines are not going to be spoken. It's not that you've been handed a script. It's not that you have to read according to the script. It's not that you're a puppet or a marionette and someone's pulling your strings. The stage is set. You can't change it. You can't go back and do past life again. But now, what do? In this role, on this stage, with this set, these co-actors, that's up to you. And then that determines where you're going to be tomorrow. So yeah, absolutely, you're playing every role in it. Yeah, beautiful. Any other questions? Yes, and then we'll come back here. First, ke baad.
Namaste, my name is Amrita, and my question is...
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Amrita.
Amrita.
My question is, why do we consider Himalayas to be like the greatest place for all Rishi Munis to do tapasya and all that? Like in ancient India, we had all the remote places, right? There's so many remote places across the world. If that's the reason for all Rishi Munis to go to tapasya there, why did they choose Himalayas, and why is Himalayas so sacred for all of us?
Great question. Why are the Himalayas so sacred and special? Why is, out of all the mountains, why are these the mountains that the sages and the saints came to? So there's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation. This land is sacred. There is something in the energy of this land that is sacred. Today we can say, Ganga is here. But before Ganga came on the earth, why did Ganga come here? Why did Ganga flow down from here? Because the land is sacred. So the beginning is just, this land is sacred. There is an energy here that is very, very, very powerful. Certain places on earth are places that are very, very powerful, and throughout different religions and different cultures, you'll see every different religion and culture has different places that are very sacred to them. And there is something, it's not only historic, it's not only, oh, this happened here, or oh, this divine being went here. But there's something inherent in the very energy of the land. So the land here is sacred. And then, because the land is sacred, when Ganga came on earth, this is where Ganga flowed. As Ganga flowed, it drew even more sages and saints and rishis, plus the power and the blessings of Ganga. So you've got a land that is sacred to begin with. And then, because of its inherent sacredness, it's drawing all of these beings to come and meditate and do puja and do prayers and fill the area with their sacredness, so it gets even more sacred. It becomes even more holy. So it just continues to get even more sacred. But the origins, because something there, something in the land, in the very energy of the land, you know. We have, if you study the earth, there's different magnetic poles in different places. I mean, we know North Pole and South Pole. But people who study these things, and I am not one of them, but I, every once in a while, hear a bit of a conversation amongst people talking about these sorts of things. There's a lot of research about magnetic poles and the impact of different magnetic poles in different areas. Why ancient people worshipped and went to certain places, there was something, a pull there, an energy there. So, yeah, there's a very, very powerful, actual energy that's here.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Last, your question.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Jigar.
Come a little closer to the microphone.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Jigar, and I'm from.
Speak into the mic so we can actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from.
Thank you.
I'm from Gujarat, and yesterday I was here, and I heard that you have done PhD from Oxford, so I need some corrections of my. My life was like I was not into marijuana and all that things, but in my college life I got it on that. And first of all, my mind was left side, and I was right hand. That it can impact that. If I was thinking left side, it was right, but my hand was I was right hand side. Then all the decisions were wrong, or something you can say?
I'm not sure that I understood the question. You were saying that earlier in your life, you were using marijuana?
No, ma'am. I am saying that
were-
I was very silent person. I was showing the video.
You were not using it, okay.
I was, if I saw the video, if I saw the cricket, I like left-handers. Everything was, of my mind was left-handed side. If I watch Australian team, it was Adam Gilchrist who was left-hander. He was my favorite, but I was right-handed.
So whatever you
yeah.
saw on your left side,
Yeah, left side.
you were attracted to that.
Yeah.
And is that still going on? Or this was only when you were young?
No, from childhood.
From childhood?
Yeah.
That which you see on your left side
Yeah.
attracts you
Yeah.
more than that which you see on your right side?
Yeah. And I am right side.
And you're right-handed when you're
Yeah.
right? Okay, no problem. So what I would say is, as you move through the world, it's an interesting idiosyncrasy. I don't have the, without more information about what's actually going on in your brain and your optic nerve and your eyes, I couldn't give you a scientific reason for that. But what I would say is, if that's true, then as you move through the world, move your head around like this, so that you can be attracted to everything, so that your left eye gets to see everything. Because otherwise you're only gonna enjoy this side. But instead, if you move like this, then all of this comes into your left side also. It's like when my mom had her first stroke and she lost her right visual field from damage in the brain. That never got repaired, but she learned from the first stroke to start to walk like this. In the beginning after the stroke, she was basically blind over here. She'd bump into things. But as the months went by with her visual therapy, she learned to move the head, and suddenly it became second nature. So she could see. So I would say for you, it sounds more like an emotional response to the world than actually a neurological problem. But allow your mission then to be, as long as what you see here, you feel more favorably about. If you ever see something that you don't feel favorably about, just turn your head. It's a beautiful teaching. We're told, somebody insults you, turn the other cheek. And for you, literally, it's like that. Just learn to see the world. Maybe close your right eye sometimes. Not when you're walking, not when you're driving, not when you need your depth of field, but see as much of the world as you can then out of your left side. And should you be in a hospital or a medical facility where you could actually get, an MRI of the brain, it might be worth it. But if your vision is fine and you don't have any other symptoms, then it's probably just an internal idiosyncratic preference. I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, take it as a challenge to just see the world through your left eye then.
Left eye, I don't think, ma'am. I'm asking about left brain and right brain.
Well, but what you see in the world, you're seeing it with your eyes. What goes in your left eye is going to your right brain, not your left brain. What you see in your right eye goes to your left brain.
Yeah.
It's actually not even eyes, it's visual field, but I won't go into all the neurology at the moment. Whichever side makes you happy, look from that side. And then ultimately try to make all of it your good side.
I want to be in life. My life has been destroyed and I'm just 25 years.
Life is not destroyed. Here you are in a beautiful, healthy body. You're strong, you're healthy. You've got the freedom to be here. You've made the choice to be here. You've got everything going for you. Use your sight. Left eye, left brain, right brain. Use all of it.
I need
To
help.
make the decisions and to make the choices that are going to take you onto the right path. Don't touch drugs. Don't even think about touching drugs. Use your full brain, full eyesight. Make good decisions. And then walk forward with them. 25 is very young. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Okay? Beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evenings, everyone. And I look so forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. And so, so much love.
Vangshi vibhushitakaran Navani